So pretty much a year ago, Alexander Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals scored his 700th career NHL goal on his journey towards breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time goals record, which is 894. Many still believe Ovechkin is capable of breaking it despite the time he missed due to lockouts and the pandemic, and it got me thinking what current young NHL stars may be in Ovi's current position one day in the future. One of the top guys who come to mind for me is Auston Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So today we will be simulating the remainder of his career and seeing if Auston Matthews breaks the all-time goals record. Personally, I think Auston Matthews is going to be one of, if not the best goal scorers of this upcoming decade if he stays healthy, and again, like I said, maybe he'll be close to chasing down Gretzky's record in another 15 years or so. Matthews was on pace to have his first 50-goal season last year, but sadly the entire world came to an immediate halt. Anyway, like always, we will be controlling a different team other than Toronto and having everything controlled by the CPU. Then we are going to simulate year by year and see how many goals he gets each season. Since we're starting this simulation at the beginning of the 2020-2021 NHL season, all of Auston Matthews' goals this year in real life will not be added to his career total. This means in this simulation, for him to break the record, opposed to the 724 he needs in real life, here on NHL 21 he is going to need 737 more goals. Also, I just want to make it clear that postseason goals do not count towards the total, so regardless if the Leafs make the playoffs and Matthews scored a ton of goals, it will not mean anything in terms of chasing the record. Now let's get into year number 1 and see if Auston Matthews can start chipping away at this massive deficit. Year number 1 has the Leafs finishing second in the NHL as well as winning their division and conference. The playoffs are a very familiar story though, as they lose to the Boston Bruins in the first round, this time not 7 games though. Auston Matthews had a really good regular season, tying his season best in goals with 47, and he had 44 assists to go with it for 91 points. In the short 5-game playoff run, he had a goal and 2 assists for 3 points. He increased up to a 93 overall and is now 690 goals away from breaking Gretzky's record. Toronto falls off quite a lot in year 2, but still make the playoffs despite being the 19th best team in the NHL. This year sees them finally make it out of the first round for the first time since 2004. They ended up going on a pretty solid run and fell just 1 game short of the Cup Finals. Auston Matthews' regular season had him finishing with 42 goals and 33 assists for 75 points, and in the playoffs was huge with 13 goals and 9 assists for 22 points. He dropped to a 92 overall and is now 648 goals away from breaking Gretzky's record. This year, the Leafs make the playoffs in convincing fashion as the 4th best team in the NHL. They get revenge on Florida in the first round, but end up losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning in the second round in 5 games. Auston Matthews once again hit the 40-plus goal mark, and this season saw him with 43 goals and 44 assists for 97 points. Come playoff time, he led the way again for Toronto with 7 goals and 6 assists for 13 points. He jumps back up to a 93 overall and is now 605 goals away from breaking Gretzky's record as he heads into the final year of his current deal. Once again, the Leafs are in the playoffs as they had another solid season, this one seeing them finish 11th in the NHL. The playoffs aren't too great though, sadly, and they lose to the Detroit Red Wings in 6 games in the first round. Matthews, for the first time in this simulation, did not lead the Leafs in scoring, but still had a solid year. In 81 games, he had 45 goals and 36 assists for 81 points, and in the playoffs had an additional 2 points. He drops back down to a 92 overall, and in the offseason re-signs with the Leafs on a massive 7-year deal worth over $11 million per year. Matthews is now 560 goals away from breaking the Great One's record. The Leafs, for the second time in this simulation, finished 4th in the NHL. The playoffs see them go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals, but lose to the Chicago Blackhawks in 6 games. If you've been watching 2BC's Toronto GM mode, you've probably seen that matchup quite a few times. Anyway, Matthews has a new career high in goals with 48 and had 31 assists to go along with it for 79 points in the regular season. In the playoffs, number 34 had 34 points in 24 games and remained at 92 overall. Auston Matthews is now 512 goals away from breaking the record. Also, here are the awards for the last 5 years for those who are interested. The Maple Leafs sneak into the playoffs as the last seed in the Eastern Conference at 16th in the league. They upset the Bolts in the first round, but end up getting swept by the Habs in the second round. Auston Matthews has his career best season with 51 goals and 52 assists for 103 points in the regular season. In the playoffs, he was pretty quiet with just 3 points in 9 games, and he increased up to a 93 overall. Matthews is now 461 goals away from breaking the all-time goals record. Although we are only 6 years into the simulation, this was the 10th season of Auston Matthews' NHL career, so in 759 NHL games, Matthews has scored 434 goals and 367 assists for 801 career points so far. Although he has been very good so far in the simulation, he is yet to win any more awards, and the only one he still has to his name is the Calder Trophy from the 2016-17 NHL season. He just hit his career best in goals, and now let's see if he can manage to break this record. I'm hoping he does, but he's going to need a lot more 50+ goal seasons for that to happen. The Leafs again make it to the playoffs as one of the lowest seeds, but this season it doesn't matter as they go on all the way to win the Stanley Cup over the Vancouver Canucks in 7 games. So no more 1967 memes in this universe. Auston Matthews again with a 100+ point season as he had 46 goals and 55 assists for 101 points. In the playoffs he had 15 goals and 13 assists for 28 points, which was good enough to win the Conn Smythe. He remained at 93 overall and is now 415 goals away from breaking the all-time goals record. In year 8, the Toronto Maple Leafs finished 20th in the NHL and for the first time in the simulation missed the playoffs. Despite this, Matthews still had a really good season and in it potted 49 goals and 39 assists for 88 points on the year. He again stays put at 93 overall and now sits just 366 goals away from breaking Gretzky's record. The Leafs bounced back in year 9 and finished 8th in the NHL. In the playoffs, they go on another deep run that sees them lose 1 game short of the Stanley Cup Finals, this time to the Philadelphia Flyers. Auston Matthews, at 31 years old, is still an elite scorer, and this season was no different. He put up 96 points after scoring 47 goals and 49 assists in the regular season, and in the playoffs, had 16 points in 16 games. He won the Maurice Richard and remains at 93 overall. He is now just 319 goals away from breaking the all-time goals record. The Toronto Maple Leafs have another good regular season, finishing 6th in the NHL, and in the playoffs fell to the Boston Bruins in the second round in 5 games. The Leafs' top line in the regular season was unstoppable. Matthews scored a ridiculous 71 goals and 47 assists for 118 points. In the playoffs, he added 11 additional points and remains at 93 overall. Here are the awards for the last 5 years once again. Matthews won the Maurice Richard and the Lady Byng Award. He also now sits just 248 goals away from breaking the all-time record. The Toronto Maple Leafs have another solid regular season, finishing 13th in the league. They matched up with the New York Rangers in the first round and ended up losing to them in 7 games. Auston Matthews, in the final year of his current deal, scored 47 goals and 38 assists for 85 points in the regular season. In the playoffs, he had himself 4 goals and 2 assists for 6 points in 7 games. He dropped to a 90 overall and re-signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs for 4 more years, making about $11.5 million per year. Matthews is now 201 goals away from breaking the record. The Toronto Maple Leafs have a huge regular season that sees them on top of the NHL and winning the President's Trophy. In the playoffs, they go on a nice run, but sadly lose to the Pittsburgh Penguins in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals. Auston Matthews had another triple-digit season, and in the first year of his new deal, scored 52 goals and 52 assists for 104 points. Come playoff time, he was solid there too with 10 points in 10 games. He wins the Maurice Richard and remains at 90 overall. Auston Matthews is now just 149 goals away from Gretzky's record. The Toronto Maple Leafs regular season dominance continues in year 13 as they finish 2nd in the NHL. In the playoffs, they get to the second round where the Buffalo Sabres end up sweeping them. Auston Matthews put up 40 goals and 43 assists for 83 points in the regular season. He does not appear in the playoffs though due to an injury and remained at 90 overall. Matthews sits just 109 goals away now from breaking the record. The Toronto Maple Leafs for the 3rd straight season are a top-tier team in the NHL, and for the 2nd straight season do not make it out of the second round where they lose to the Detroit Red Wings. Matthews' age finally is starting to catch up to him. He still has a good season, but there is a decline in goals. This year had him finish with 36 goals and 49 assists for 85 points, but in the playoffs he was the Leafs' best guy with 11 points in 8 games. He drops to an 88 overall heading into the final year of his current deal and is now 73 goals away from the record. Toronto, like usual, with a good regular season as they finished 8th in the league. The playoffs are the same story though, as they again did not get out of the second round. Matthews, in possibly the last year of his career, had 40 goals and 42 assists for 82 points in the regular season, and in the playoffs had 6 goals and 3 assists for 9 points. He drops to an 85 overall and signs for 2 more years with the Leafs. All he needs is 33 goals in those 2 years. Toronto, for the first time in a while, miss out on the playoffs and have a disappointing regular season as they finished 22nd in the NHL. Auston Matthews, for his age, still had a very solid year with 25 goals and 43 assists for 68 points. He dropped to an 82 overall, and despite being just 8 goals away from the record, with another year on his contract, he does decide to call it a career and retire. So in 1,559 NHL games, Auston Matthews scored 887 goals and 824 assists for 1,711 career NHL points. Along with these amazing numbers, he had himself a Stanley Cup, a Conn Smythe Trophy, the Calder Trophy, 1 Lady Byng, and 3 Maurice Richards. Great career, it just sucks he fell short of the record by that little. Actually, he does not end up finishing second in all-time scoring like I thought he did, as here on the all-time records, it does have Matthews at second, but after not seeing Ovi on that list, I had to check the Caps all-time goals record. And there he is. Ovechkin did break the goal record and had himself 920 goals, which was the new record. So I guess we found a glitch in NHL 21, and even if he beat Gretzky, he would not be the all-time goals leader. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys would like to see next. For about a month now, the support has been incredible lately, and I've been having a lot of fun making these, so thank you guys for that. Once again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.